Chapter 601. Many questions. Little Cold Hands was direct. He didn't try to beat around the bush and asked for the truth. This truth was what Yi Shu had wanted to hide and was why Yi Shu had Chen Guo deal with this matter instead of doing it himself. However, they were exposed from the beginning. Chen Guo instantly felt embarrassed. She couldn't bring herself to answer him at the moment, so she turned her head and looked at Yi Shu. What happened? Yi Shu asked. We've been seen through, Chen Guo said. Oh, Yi Shu didn't seem to be too surprised. So what did he say? It's my turn to talk now, Chen Guo said. Then say what you need to say, Yi Shu said. Then Chen Guo also showed the brisk side of her and happily admitted, yes. Oh, then this team has some weight to it, Little Cold Hands said. Chen Guo was confused for a moment. When she first mentioned that, holy heel, this fellow appeared to be quite humble, but this sentence sort of implied that he thought of himself very highly. How could someone say something like Yi Chu's team only had some weight to it? Was that unrivaled super hottie, Yi Chu? The more Little Cold Hands asked, the deeper he got. Chen Guo turned around to look at Yi Shu. He's asking about unrivaled super hottie. Yi Shu nodded his head, so Chen Guo answered with another, yes. What was his aim for sneaking into tyrannical ambition? Little Cold Hands continued to ask. He was currently speaking in an arrogant tone. As for Chen Guo, she was the type who could be persuaded by reason, but not coerced. When Little Cold Hands was being humble and polite, she had a good impression on him, but now that he suddenly acted all haughty, she immediately felt unhappy. If she continued to say that Yi Shu did that just to find a cleric and picked him, wouldn't it please him to death? As a result, Chen Guo decided to just blab, no particular reason. He just wanted to play on a side account to sharpen his skills. To sharpen his skills? With Yi Chu's level, what skills could he need to sharpen by joining an average team in a guild? Little Cold Hands was able to see through the lie with ease. Chen Guo felt gloomy and found Yi Shu continuously shaking his head beside her, expressing his disdain towards her lie. In short, we think your skills are quite good. What do you think? Are you interested in joining us? Chen Guo didn't care, because truthfully, she favored the frank and blunt method. If he was interested in joining, then he could join. If not, he didn't have to. It would be over and done with. If a clear and straightforward answer was given, why would there be a need to chit-chat anymore? In any case, everything had been exposed. If he really is Yi Chu, then I do have some interest, Little Cold Hands spoke, but you're not just borrowing his name to bluff me, are you? Chen Guo could see that he was starting to doubt her and wanted to faint. However, in the end, this was still official business, so she didn't directly show her fearlessness and patiently continued, it's true. Didn't you guess correctly from the start? Then where is he? Why didn't he come to find me himself? Little Cold Hands asked. It's because he was afraid that you're a tyranny fan, so you might not like him because of his background as the god from Excellent Era. Chen Guo spoke the truth. Oh, that's true, but it wasn't very wise to send you because a lot of people know about your relationship with Yi Chu, Little Cold Hands said. Yes. We were too careless, but now that you already know about it, how about you give us a definite answer about whether or not you're interested in joining, Chen Guo said. How could my decision be so easy? Little Cold Hands was very shocked. If I joined Yi Chu, then I wouldn't just be playing around for fun anymore, no? The goal would be the Pro Alliance, wouldn't it? With the championships as the goal, it means I'd have to become a pro player, right? This is an important decision that could affect the rest of my life. Do you think I'd just be able to casually throw out an answer in a few seconds? The long chain of rhetorical questions made Chen Guo speechless. After a long while, she powerlessly said, then you can think about it. You can give me an answer anytime you'd like. You're just going to leave me like this? Little Cold Hands continued to be surprised. Then what do you want? Chen Guo asked. You should at least introduce your future plans and your current situation, right? For example, the other team members apart from Yi Chu. For example, how much financial backing does your team have? What's the direction and aim of the team's development? What would be my compensation and salary be? How many years would I have to sign for in the contract? Are there 3 insurances and 1 fund or 5 insurances and 1 fund? Does your team provide food and housing accommodations? Little Cold Hands continued with another chain of questions. This time, Chen Guo didn't feel upset. She also realized that what she was discussing with Little Cold Hands was indeed a very serious and important issue. On the other hand, she was recruiting him like how she would for a dungeon party in the game. Okay, Chen Guo hurriedly hastily corrected her attitude. As for our team, Yi Chu will be the captain. We're currently in the preparatory phase. We will be signing up for the Challenger League next season and fighting for qualifications into the Pro League. As for our members, we're still in the middle of recruiting them. As for the investment, I'm currently the investor. As for salary, if you intend to join the team, then we can sit down and discuss it. Are you satisfied? Oh, you're the investor? Namely, the boss, Little Cold Hands asked. Pretty much, Chen Guo answered with a bit of guilt because she realized more and more that it wouldn't be an easy thing to support a team in the current Glory League. She wasn't confident that she could really support the team all by herself. Pretty much. What does that even mean? Little Cold Hands grasped this point. Currently, I'm the only investor, Chen Guo said. You mean that in the future, someone else could become a shareholder, or do you mean that you aren't completely sure about the issue, so you gave a vague answer? Little Cold Hands said. Okay, I'm not sure. We're currently in the preparatory stage of creating the team, so there are a lot of questions that we're still figuring out, Chen Guo said. Also, you mentioned that your team would be getting the qualifications into the Pro League through the Challenger League? From the looks of it, your resources are very limited and you don't have confidence in any of the other paths to the Pro League, but for the Challenger League, even if we have a god like Yi Chu, we can't be sure that we would definitely reach the end. After all, in the Challenger League, there will be 2 eliminated pro teams joining too, right? Under these circumstances, what would the contract for our wages say? Would our contract have a clause saying it's half professional? That if we happen to win our way into the Pro League through the Challenger League, the contract would automatically change into a full professional contract? If the team fails, the contract would automatically be terminated and everyone can just return home and do whatever? Little Cold Hands threw out a mountain of questions once again. These were all things that Chen Guo had never thought about before. She was unable to ward off the blows at the moment. After hesitating for a long while, she gave another vague answer. We're still thinking about these issues. We can discuss the specifics once everyone has gathered together. Oh look, another uncertainty. You really are unsure toward all the issues. Don't tell me that you're planning to say if I have any intentions on joining, then I should give you around 300 to 500 yen as a deposit? If that's the case, then I don't have any other doubts toward your identity, Little Cold Hands said. Of course not, Chen Guo was gloomy, but she couldn't bring herself to blame him because their team still lacked a decent and proper plan. Chen Guo was unsure about what Yi Chu was planning, so she really couldn't say anything. She was afraid that Little Cold Hands would ask more questions right now, so she firmly raised the white flag. Actually, Yi Chu is the one mainly responsible with creating the team. How about I have him find you to talk about all of this? Don't tell me, you don't have any thoughts of your own? You're that careless of an investor? Are you throwing everything to Yi Chu to do? Could it be that he's your relative? Little Cold Hands still continued to ask. Ask him, Chen Guo could only say these words. She ruthlessly pulled Yi Chu over from beside her. You talk to him. Talk about what? Yi Chu asked. The team's plans, the members of the team, our financial backing. If he needs to sign a contract, sign what sort of contract? If he gets 3 insurances and 1 fund, does it cover food and housing? And also, if I'm your relative, Chen Guo summarized everything emotionlessly. She was about to go crazy. Ha ha ha, this fellow has done a lot of thinking, Yi Chu laughed, while taking Chen Guo's headphones. Just hang it over there. I want to listen too, Chen Guo said. Why don't you just put it on speaker? It wouldn't be as exhausting for you, Yi Chu said. And I was afraid of it being too noisy, Chen Guo said. Yi Chu held the mic near his mouth and said, hello. Yi Chu? The other side asked. It's me. I've heard that you have a lot of questions, Yi Chu said. Yup, my first question is to confirm that you're the one who picked me and not that foolish lady who spoke earlier, Little Cold Hands said. Yi Chu gazed innocently at Chen Guo, who sat beside him. To his surprise, Chen Guo didn't seem to have the energy to be angry because Chen Guo felt pretty stupid about her responses to Little Cold Hands. Yes, I was the one who found you. Moreover, that foolish lady is not my relative. She'll be our boss, Yi Chu said. Oh, she's so stupid. Her money must be easy to swindle, right? Is that why you chose her as your investor? Little Cold Hands said. I forgot to tell you. She can hear our conversation right now, Yishu had to say. Little Cold Hands, who had kept on asking questions, finally became silent. He then said, "Hello boss, I hope that after you heard the reminders I gave you, you should be more aware of the risks that the Challenger League holds and to be cautious in investing." Thank you. Chen Guo's face was covered in tears. Then let's get to business. Please tell me about the current state of this team, Little Cold Hands said. The situation is just as boss said. It's currently filled with uncertainties. If we can't assemble enough members before the Challenger League starts, then everything will just be for nothing, Yishu said. Is this your main concern right now? Little Cold Hands said. Indeed. Even if we manage to form a team, how can you be so certain about the Challenger League? Little Cold Hands asked. As long as it's a competition, then no one would dare say that they are 100% certain. However, a team like ours, which is made from scratch, needs to be tested through something like the Challenger League. If we can't even perform well enough in the Challenger League, then even if our team enters the Pro League, then we would just be returning to the game very soon. To enter the Pro League through the Challenger League is so that our investors don't have to take such dangerous risks. This is our responsibility to the investors. Yishu said. What you mean is that Challenger League's aim is actually to examine this team's quality and worth? Little Cold Hands asked. Correct, the one who would actually be taking on the risk of elimination would be me. As long as you guys perform well, then the Challenger League will help you achieve enough to ensure your future, Yishu said. Chapter 602. There's always something that'll work. Yishu's lingering words sounded solemn and stirring. Even Tang Ru, who was diagonal from him, heard his words and felt moved. Chen Guo didn't need to be mentioned. Her fragile heart had already shattered to pieces. She didn't know what to say. Chen Guo hated how she couldn't take out her heart and sell it to achieve her dream. In the game, Little Cold Hands was clearly touched as well, except he was also clearly an extremely calm and rational person. He didn't completely give in like Chen Guo. After a moment of silence, he continued, this sort of future can also be won by performing well in the official Pro League as well, right? Little Cold Hands completely ignored the huge risk Yishu would be taking in the Challenger League. He continued to be ice cold, making Chen Guo want to interrupt and curse him, but Yishu calmly answered, correct. However, there's another issue. I can see that you're someone who is very clear-headed. You should have a good understanding of your own skill level. Do you think your skill is actually good enough to perform well in the pro scene? Probably not, Little Cold Hands said, but at least I have potential. If not, why would you come looking for me? Right, but your potential can be found anywhere in the training camps of the pro teams. We looked for you because our resources are limited. On the other hand, your situation happens to work out for our team. You're still far from the pro level and need training. Directly throwing you into the pro league would be the same as throwing an elementary school student into university. Do you think you would be able to grow in that environment? In comparison, the Challenger League would also be quite good. It continuously eliminates weaker team, allowing for a slow and steady increase in difficulty, which can be used to accumulate experience and raise your skill level progressively. It fits you too perfectly. Yishu replied. Okay, from what you're saying, this is a really rare opportunity for me, Little Cold Hands said. Seeing as to how you have such a detailed understanding of the pro scene, it looks like you're quite interested in becoming a pro player, Yishu said. Of course. I would think most players in Glory share this dream, Little Cold Hands said. Now you have the opportunity to make that dream a reality, Yishu said. However, after having my potential recognized by a god, I'm quite eager to try and register for Tyranny's training camp, Little Cold Hands countered. Haha, if you really plan on doing that, I wouldn't suggest Tyranny. Tyranny's Zhang Jinji is too important to the team. His position on the team far surpasses that of just a cleric. Until he retires, even if your cleric skills are even more outstanding than Zhang Jinji's, you still wouldn't be able to replace him as the team's cleric. In addition, for a god-level cleric character like a movable rock, Tyranny has definitely made sufficient preparations for its next successor once Zhang Jinji retires. If you really go to Tyranny, your competition will far surpass your imagination because your competitors won't just be you. Also, because of the importance of Zhang Jinji and Tyranny, the team won't have much space for a cleric to grow. Rookie clerics in Tyranny have difficulty gaining experience in matches. Currently, Tyranny doesn't have any rookie clerics in training. My guess is that Tyranny will look for a transfer from another team as a movable rock's successor once Zhang Jinji retires. Your competitors will be seasoned pro players, possibly other gods. Student, are you ready for such an undertaking? Yi Shu explained. Little Cold Hands was silent for a moment before answering. Then from your perspective, which team would fit me? Without a doubt, it would be my team. Didn't I just say that? Yi Shu said. What will your team be called? Little Cold Hands asked. Happy, Yi Shu replied and then turned his head to ask Chen Guo, right? Or are you planning on changing it? Probably not, Chen Guo also asked. You don't even know the name of your own team? Little Cold Hands was somewhat speechless. Would it hurt to sound a little bit more reliable? We emphasize practicality. Something like a name is like a fleeting cloud. It doesn't matter what it is. The name could even be fleeting clouds. Don't joke around, Chen Guo angered. She cared a lot about the name. Even though Happy didn't sound as powerful as Tyranny, it gave a lot of other emotions to her. She could accept a name change, but something like Fleeting Clouds wasn't something she couldn't accept. Boss, Team Fleeting Clouds actually sounds a lot better than Team Happy. Happy, it sounds like some small grocery store or internet cafe on the side of the street. Ha 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 ha, you're right, Yi Shu was about to die from laughter. Really? Little Cold Hands thought Yi Shu was talking about Team Fleeting Clouds sounding better than Team Happy, but Yi Shu's non-stop laughter was making him somewhat confused. Do what you want. Little Cold Hands heard the boss humph. We can talk about the name later. Do you have any other doubts? If you don't have any, you can start considering it, Yi Shu said. If I don't have to pay any fees or make any cash deposits, I think I can accept the offer. How about we talk about the contract now? Little Cold Hands asked. What requirements would you have for the contract? Yi Shu asked. Seeing your dire circumstances and my current skill level, I don't really have any qualifications to talk about any conditions, do I? Little Cold Hands asked. Correct. You think of yourself as too much of a treasure. If you have too many conditions, I'll just have to continue picking up grass, Yi Shu said. But if you keep on going back and forth looking for recruits like this, wouldn't it waste too much of your time? Little Cold Hands said. Without a reliable team to count on, there isn't really much else to do, Yi Shu said. How many players have you found for your team so far? Little Cold Hands asked. Including you, we should have around 4, Yi Shu said. The other 2, Little Cold Hands asked. One of them is a warlock. For now, you won't be able to get in touch with him. The other one is a battle mage, who's currently in the 10th server, Yi Shu said. What about Miu Miu? Doesn't she count? Chen Guo heard Yi Shu talk about Wei Chen and Tang Ru and hastily asked. She can't for the Challenger League, Yi Shu said. Miu Miu. Su Mu Cheng? Little Cold Hands listened. If we can smoothly enter the Pro League, she'll be a part of our team, Yi Shu said. Oh, I finally hear a reliable piece of information from you, Little Cold Hands sighed. What about that steamed bun? Chen Guo asked again. I haven't talked about it with Steamed Bun yet. Who knows what he's thinking, Yi Shu said. Steamed Bun can think. Chen Guo had managed the guild in the 10th server before, so she had interacted with Steamed Bun Invasion several times already. He's not a real Steamed Bun. He's an actual person too, Yi Shu defended him. Isn't it about time you mentioned it to him? Chen Guo said. Have I talked about it with him before? I forget, Yi Shu said. Isn't it more like the author forgot? Chen Guo said. Most likely. That useless trash. I hate him, Yi Shu nodded his head. Then should I go talk to him about it? Chen Guo said. Author note, this him is referring to Steamed Bun Invasion. Please skip over the part in parentheses. Did you forget that we're in the middle of a conversation with a certain someone? Yi Shu reminded Chen Guo. Steamed Bun Invasion was an entirely different matter. Ahem, Little Cold Hands coughed. Chen Guo felt so ashamed that she wanted to die. Okay, Little Hands, I'll be direct. You tell me what your requirements are for the contract and then give us some time to think about it, Yi Shu said. The Challenger League will test the quality of the team and the quality of the individual team members too. You wouldn't dare to be certain that the players you've gathered are enough to form a pro team, right? After smoothly passing through the Challenger League, what if some of the team members don't perform well enough? Would you kick them out after entering the Pro League? Little Cold Hands asked. Your attitude decides everything. If your attitude doesn't prove to be a problem, you'll be good enough and you'll perform well, Yi Shu said. So you're saying you won't deny such a possibility? Little Cold Hands said. Of course. Nothing is set in stone yet, Yi Shu said. Then what happens if another team is interested in me? Would the team allow me to leave? Little Cold Hands asked. So you were concerned about this? Ha ha, if you really do rise to become an amazing talent, even if we wanted to, we wouldn't be able to stop you. If you've been paying attention to the pro scene, then you should know that teams don't usually force players to stay if they aren't willing to stay. That wouldn't be a win-win situation. If something like that happened, both sides would need to negotiate until both sides are satisfied with the results. Is that satisfactory answer? Yi Shu said. Then what will the specifics of the contract look like? Little Cold Hands asked. Since we're unreliable, we obviously haven't even started writing up contracts yet, but if you go online and do a search, you should be able to find similar contracts prepared by other teams. You can use those as references, Yi Shu said. You're saying that I have to prepare the contract myself? Little Cold Hands asked. That isn't impossible, Yi Shu said. If I wanted to back out right now, can I? Little Cold Hands said. You're joking, smiley face. Yi Shu sent a smiley face. Fine, but I still need to confirm that you're Yi Chu, Little Cold Hands said. Would it be good enough if I went on Lord Grimm and sent you a message? Yi Shu asked. There isn't any proof that Lord Grimm is Yi Chu, Little Cold Hands said. Go ask your guild leader, Yi Shu said. Quote. Or I can give you old Hans or Zhang's phone number and you can ask them yourself? Quote. Oh my, I don't think I have their phone numbers. I can give you their QQs? Quote. Or you can video chat with Su Mucheng. Quote. Or I could go look for Huang Shaoshan and have you experience how talkative he really is. Quote. There has to be a method you can accept, right? You can choose any of them, Yi Shu said. It's fine. I believe you, Little Cold Hands said. Chapter 603. Team Group Chat. It's done. Yi Shu finally let out a sigh of relief. Little Cold Hands agreed to join the team. For clear-headed people, persuading them wasn't an easy task, but it wasn't difficult either. Beating around the bush or saying vague statements wouldn't work on them, but if you clearly stated the pros and cons, they would naturally come to the choice you wanted. Of course, there was one requirement. The choice you wanted has to benefit them. If it doesn't, then no matter how well you spoke, it would be hard to persuade rational people. In the future, you should be the one to do this. Chen Guo felt a bit ashamed. I didn't know that he would be that type of person. Yi Shu expressed his helplessness. He had only teamed up with Little Cold Hands for one dungeon and noticed that one of the clerics on the team had a beautiful grasp of the tempo. However, in a team with multiple clerics supporting a single tank, this type of beautiful playing could easily be covered up. Only a god like Yi Shu would barely be able to notice this special cleric. After finding out this special cleric was Little Cold Hands, he continued to observe him and also paid attention to his messages in chat. In that team, Little Cold Hands was a very ordinary player. Even though his playing was beautiful, his weaknesses were also very obvious. Because of his slow reaction speed and slow hands, he was lacking in many areas. When he stood still and healed, he performed perfectly, but as soon as anything unexpected happened, such as the tank messing up the aggro, he was unable to react appropriately in those situations. If an expert wanted to distinguish himself, the easiest way was to shine during crucial moments. However, Little Cold Hands' weaknesses stopped him from performing well at these crucial moments. His strengths, such as healing at the correct time, only appeared when the situation was stable and everyone was standing still. However, the rest of the clerics on the team covered him up, which was why no one had noticed anything abnormal about Little Cold Hands before. In dungeon runs, Little Cold Hands just looked like another cleric, so even though Yi Shu paid attention to the chat, he couldn't get much from his messages. Right now, Yi Shu was quite happy that Little Cold Hands was a clear-headed and rational person. It was because Little Cold Hands was such a person that he didn't have any enmity towards Yichu's identity, despite being a Tyranny fan. He only cared about the important issues with being a part of the team. If Little Cold Hands had been someone like Chen Guo, who angrily left her guild for her idol, there probably wouldn't have even been a discussion. Yishu thought he might encounter such a person, so he called Chen Guo over to test him out. If the other side was someone like Chen Guo with strong opinions, tricking him wouldn't work, because the truth would come out eventually. However, someone clear-headed and rational wouldn't be easy to deal with either. Like Little Cold Hands mentioned before, it was the issue of choosing other teams. He could ignore the conflict between Yichu and Tyranny to join Yichu's team, meaning his emotions wouldn't restrain his decisions, but this also meant that his loyalty to the team needed to be established through other means. Fame or other benefits could easily sway him into leaving their team for another. In any case, being able to get someone like him to join the team was something worth celebrating. Yishu didn't say anything more because he had said everything he needed to say. Afterwards, he asked Little Cold Hands about a few more minor details. Little Cold Hands wasn't old. He was a university student. Yishu had gotten this information when they had been running dungeons together. If he didn't meet this age prerequisite, Yishu wouldn't have considered him. After all, normal players required time to grow, unlike someone with a deep foundation like Wei Chen. If he was too old, he would be too difficult to train and he wouldn't be able to become a highly skilled player. Only after learning about Little Cold Hands' age did he begin doing a more detailed investigation. Now that he was asking him personally, he verified his age. Little Cold Hands was 20 years old. After the summer, he would be a third-year university student. His real name was Wen Yi. Both his family and his school were in City B because of special circumstances. The two exchanged their phone and QQ numbers. As for how he was going to deal with his relationships in the game, school, and family, Yishu didn't ask. Wen Yi's rational mind saved Yishu a lot of worry about these aspects. Chen Guo opened up her QQ and added Wen Yi as a friend. After that, she created a group called Team Happy. Yishu was naturally the first to join. Then, she invited Wen Yi, Tang Ru, and Wei Chen to the group. Their next conversation topic was no longer about the contract. Yishu told Wen Yi about his observations and analyzed the issues that he had noticed when they played together. As for how to help him improve, Yishu needed a better understanding first. He logged out of Unrivaled Super Hottie and logged onto Lord Grimm. He partied up with Little Cold Hands and looked for a small 5-man dungeon to go into. With just the two of them alone, along with situations that Yishu created to test Wen Yi, Yishu was able to quickly get a deeper understanding of Wen Yi's skill level. As he cleared away monsters, he had already begun coaching him. As for the North Bridge, he had completely forgotten about it. At the North Bridge, with dazzling springback and no one with the ability to stop him, Blossom Valley gathered together again and regained the upper hand. This time, there was no Unrivaled Super Hottie to disturb him. In the end, after many twists and turns, the North Bridge mage still ended up in the hands of Blossom Valley. Unrivaled Super Hottie's mighty attack, the cleric heal at the crucial moment, and the dirty commander of Samsara all became meaningless. The guilds dispersed gloomily. Zhang Yu already looked like his soul had left his body. He failed to win the wild boss that the team urgently needed. He still didn't know the purpose of Yichu spying on his guild for 2 weeks. These two problems constantly bothered him. Zhang Yu was doomed to have a sleepless night today. That's basically your current situation right now. Later, I'll help you sort out everything and devise a training routine for you. At a dungeon exit, there stood one person, who was the source of all of Zhang Yu's troubles, and the other, who had tyrannical ambitions tagged next to his name. Right now, none of them showed an ounce of empathy towards Zhang Yu's misery. After running the 5-man dungeon twice, Yishu ended his session with Wen Yi and prepared to begin helping the others. Should I call Steamed Bun over? Seeing that Yishu was busy, Chen Guo gave a suggestion. Okay, invite him into the group, Yishu said. He and Steamed Bun Invasion had been in touch with each other since a long time ago, so he had a good understanding of his situation. What's the situation? Where's this? Steamed Bun Invasion's QQ name was also Steamed Bun Invasion. His profile picture was a photo of a grinning Steamed Bun. After accepting the invite, he joined the group and began blabbering away. Team Happy. What a coincidence. It has the same name as our guild, Steamed Bun Invasion chattered. Steamed Bun, it's me. Lord Grim, Yi Shu said. Senior, Steamed Bun Invasion immediately greeted him. Did you see? Our guild is planning on forming a team. Would you like to join? Yi Shu asked. Of course, Steamed Bun Invasion said. We're going to sign up and participate in the Challenger League next season. Do you know what that is? Yi Shu asked. No idea. There's some information here. Yi Shu sent him a link. So many words. Steamed Bun Invasion clicked on the link and an info page about the Challenger League on the Pro League's website opened up. After 5 seconds, he let out a grumble. We're going to join this competition. After winning, we'll be able to enter the pro scene, Yi Shu said. The pro scene. Steamed Bun Invasion sent out a shocked emoji. Do you know what that is? Yi Shu asked. Of course, Steamed Bun Invasion hadn't played Glory for all this time for nothing. He had a lot more knowledge about the game than before. We'll go to the pro scene and win the championships. Doesn't that sound fun? Yi Shu said. Awesome, Steamed Bun Invasion said. Then it's decided, Yi Shu said. When's the competition? Steamed Bun Invasion asked. It's still too early. We'll have to wait until the summer, when the next season begins, Yi Shu said. But I can't wait any longer. I'm already burning up, Steamed Bun Invasion said. That's the spirit a young person should have, Yi Shu praised. You're too right. I really should have my little bro listen to Senior's words, Steamed Bun Invasion said. Your brother. Concealed Light. Senior, have you forgotten about him already? But then again, you're right. He's just a small character, Steamed Bun Invasion said. Oh, Concealed Light. Of course I remember him. How good is he now? Yi Shu said. One word, he's still a noob, Steamed Bun Invasion said. Yi Shu didn't point out that he had said 4 words because Steamed Bun Invasion quickly followed up, but speaking of him, he's quite hard-working. Senior, how about we give him a chance to feel the burning spirit of our team? Oh, of course, Yi Shu said. He also had Concealed Light's QQ. From the guides that Concealed Light had written up, he also had some talent. It was just that the difference between his theoretical knowledge and his actual ability to play was too incredible. Even though Yi Shu had given him a few training methods, because of his extremely low starting point, Yi Shu didn't have high expectations for Concealed Light. If he had the perseverance to continue training, in the future, he had the potential to become an outstanding player, but right now, with his current strength, he was still way too weak to be one of his team's members. Chapter 604. The Starting Six. Concealed Light was soon dragged into the QQ group. Yi Shu and Chen Guo didn't even get the chance to say anything, when Steamed Bun Invasion started lecturing him harshly. Boy, you listen here. You being able to join such a high-end group is all thanks to my request to Senior. You'd better cherish this opportunity and grasp your future. Don't disgrace me, okay? FCK off, FCK off, FCK off, FCK off. Concealed Light quickly replied to Steamed Bun Invasion, showing major improvement in his hand speed. He hated how this was a messaging chat, allowing Steamed Bun Invasion to send his messages all at once. If this had been a voice chat, Concealed Light would have interrupted Steamed Bun Invasion several times over already. Do you see where we are right now? How can you have such bad manners? Steamed Bun Invasion suddenly became angry. Let's not argue now. Yi Shu could only step out and mediate. Did you hear what he said? He said to stop arguing. Steamed Bun Invasion quickly added. Yi Shu and Concealed Light clearly had a good understanding of Steamed Bun Invasion. Telling Steamed Bun Invasion not to argue was completely pointless, so they didn't bother with this topic any longer. Concealed Light saw the name of the group and asked excitedly, "You're going to create a team?" "Yeah. Are you interested?" Yi Shu asked. "I can join too." Concealed Light felt very uneasy. "Of course not, but you can attempt if you want." Concealed Light was about to sincerely reply with, "I'll definitely try my hardest," but when he realized that the person who had sent the message was Steamed Bun Invasion, his reply immediately changed to F***CK off. How have things been progressing?" Yi Shu asked. "He's had a slight bit of improvement." Steamed Bun Invasion spoke for Concealed Light. Concealed Light. What's your current level? Same as me. Steamed Bun Invasion was still talking. Concealed Light. Our team will be registering for next season's Challenger League and will try to earn the chance to advance into the pro scene. Yi Shu spoke seriously. He needed to make this point clear for all potential recruits. That's a must. Steamed bun invasion. Concealed light. How about it? Have you ever thought about becoming a pro player? Yi Shu continued. In my dreams, steamed bun invasion quickly replied. Concealed light was starting to become uncertain after being annoyed to such a point. You're talking to me, right? Yeah, Yi Shu had to call out names. Steamed bun, don't interrupt for now. Sure, steamed bun invasion replied. Concealed light, if senior asks something, you should answer for yourself. What's there to be afraid of? Concealed light typed a giant block of emojis, which were all smashing their heads against a wall. Good, let's go back to what I previously said. Are you interested in becoming a pro player? Yi Shu asked. I can become one too. Concealed light was somewhat excited, but was also somewhat uneasy. Even though he had a lot of game knowledge and theory, his practical ability was very low. Concealed low wouldn't even dare to call himself an expert. If you're determined, nothing is impossible. Yi Shu said. Then allow me to try, Concealed light expressed. Then you're going to have to work even harder, Yi Shu said. He had gotten to know Concealed Light's skill level long ago, and because he had a few special characteristics, he had observed Concealed Light further. In terms of mechanical skill, Concealed Light didn't have any foundation like Steamed Bun Invasion or Tang Ru did. He pretty much needed to learn from scratch. However, from his guides, he could tell that Concealed Light was someone who worked hard and studied meticulously. This type of studious spirit was Yi Shu's reason for having confidence in him. He believed that even though Concealed Light would need more time to develop, as long as there was a direction and he persevered, he definitely had the potential to become a pro. As for how much he would be able to accomplish, that would depend on himself and luck. Yes, I'll definitely try hard, Concealed Light agreed excitedly once he confirmed that Yi Shu was speaking to him. Good luck, Yi Shu sent a fighting emoji. No, there's no competition taking place right now. It's making me impatient. I need to go back to the game and show my strength. I'll be going. Steamed Bun Invasion sent a roaring emoji and quickly returned to the game. F***CK, so noisy, Concealed Light finally obtained a peaceful and quiet environment. Haha, apart from a laugh, Yi Shu really didn't know what to say. Is there anything else? If not, I'll be going back to the game too, Concealed Light said. How about leaving your contact info? It will be more convenient for us to contact you if we need something, Chen Guo said. Chen Guo's QQ name was also Chasing Haze, so Concealed Light immediately recognized who she was. After Lord Grimm had gone to the Heavenly Domain, a character called Chasing Haze often showed up to deal with matters in the 10th server's guild Happy. Even though she wasn't the guild leader in name, she was essentially Happy's guild leader. She had practically the same authority as one, so Concealed Light obviously knew who she was. Sure, Concealed Light said, while giving her his phone number. He also asked, do you need my credentials or anything like that? For when we register. The official organizer for the Pro Alliance would definitely need proof of identity. It seemed like Concealed Light was the type of person to forget stuff, so he wanted to get it done with as quickly as possible. It's still too early for us to register. It will have to be after the season ends, but you can give it to me now if you'd like. Yi Shu said. Concealed Light immediately sent his information over, such as his ID. Concealed Light, real name Luo Ji, 18 years old. He was a second-year mathematics major at Famous University in City T. Famous University. Wow, 18 years old and already a second year, Chen Guo was amazed. You flatter me, Concealed Light replied modestly. Math major, are you a good student? Yi Shu asked. Hello. He's a student at Famous University. Do you even know what that means? Chen Guo said. She had dropped out of high school in order to manage the internet cafe. As for the person next to her, from her knowledge of his career, he had probably left his home to play video games after graduating from middle school. Chen Guo felt like with their educational backgrounds, they should deeply respect a student from a place like Famous University. Study well. It's very useful, Yi Shu said. What do you know? Chen Guo said with disdain. From a gaming perspective, math is a very important subject. If you study it well, it will certainly be helpful, Yi Shu said. Chen Guo was speechless. This guy was telling him to study well from a gaming perspective? If his major hadn't been a very important subject from a gaming perspective, he wouldn't tell him to straight up switch majors, would he? Yeah, I know, Concealed Light said. As a math major, he knew how useful mathematics was. I have some data here. You can try to study it, Yi Shu said. Oh. Yi Shu private messaged Concealed Light and sent him some of the data. These are from the normal server. Once you get to the heavenly domain, there'll be a lot more. Yi Shu said. He gave Concealed Light the results of Wei Chen's research on skill books. Now that he knew about Concealed Light's identity, he felt like giving these to Concealed Light might produce new findings and advances. Wei Chen was from a rough background. After retiring for so many years, he probably wasn't someone who could become successful just by studying by himself. His research was from experience, intuition, and experiments in order to reach a conclusion. Only someone as knowledgeable as Concealed Light would be able to deconstruct the difference factors involved in finding skill book drops. Even though he was only a second-year university student, Yi Shu firmly believed that his friend Wei Chen's education had probably stopped at third year in middle school. Life experiences might be able to increase his knowledge, but an advanced skill like math wasn't something that could be obtained in such a way. This Concealed Light had played for a long time. How could he not know about the value of skill books? After flipping through a few pages of data, he felt greatly shocked. It's classified information, Yi Shu said. Of course, Concealed Light replied. If you've got time, make sure you take a look, Yi Shu said. Sure, Concealed Light replied. He seemed like he couldn't wait any longer. Chen Guo was a bit hesitant though. After all, Concealed Light was someone they had met online. He said he would join the team, but it was just an oral agreement. There wasn't an actual contract or anything between them, and Yi Shu had given him something so important. Chen Guo thought this was a bit too rash, but seeing that Yi Shu trusted Concealed Light, she felt a bit embarrassed to cut in. After all, the data had already been handed over. Even if she said it now, it was too late. It would be better to place more trust in this talent from famous university. Do you know about Steamed Bun's situation? Chen Guo had neatly organized the information on Little Cold Hands and Concealed Light, but she didn't have time to gather any about Steamed Bun invasion. Apart from his name, I have a general understanding of his situation, Yi Shu said. He had known Steamed Bun invasion for a while now and had gleaned some information from his conversations with him. He was very similar to Concealed Light. Yi Shu already knew that he was young. He had gotten Steamed Bun invasion's phone number a long time ago. As for what he did, from their conversations together, he had revealed that he was a guard at an internet cafe. In that case, he had a similar background as Wei Chen. Both of them were ruffians. What would it be like if the two met each other? Steamed Bun has never said his real name before. Chen Guo organized everyone's information. Steamed Bun invasion's name was the only space left blank for now though. He's never talked about it. I'll ask him in a sec, Yi Shu said. Okay. Then currently we have you, Little Tang, Old Wei, Little Cold Hands, Steamed Bun, and Concealed Light. We have 6 already. Chen Guo was excited. 6 players was the minimum number of players required for a team. It was the number required for a team competition. However, the rules in the alliance weren't fixed. If the team didn't meet the minimum requirements, it wouldn't mean that their qualifications would be nulled. The team could still participate, but the team would just be at a disadvantage. For example, if a team had 5 players, the team would have to give up on one round of the individual competition, or play the group competition as a 2v3. In addition to that, for the team competition, the team would only have 5 players and no substitutes. This ruling was because of the difficult start in the early years of the pro scene. At that time, there were too many teams and not enough players. Teams only had the minimum 6 players. If any one of them had some sort of accident, it would become awkward. If they automatically lost, too many matches would be cancelled, which was why this rule had been created. However, even though they could still register and participate in the competition without 6 players, they wouldn't be able to win. Now that Team Happy had 6 players gathered, none of which were randomly chosen, they were progressing quite well. Chapter 605. Times have changed. Seeing how excited Chen Guo was, Yi Shu didn't want to pour any cold water on her mood. In reality, only he and Wei Chen were ready to go out on stage at any time. And even though Tang Ru and Steam Bun Invasion were talented and improved quickly, Tang Ru wasn't just new to Glory, but new to gaming as well. It would be hard to avoid playing inconsistently. As for Steam Bun Invasion, even though he was new to Glory, he clearly had prior experience in gaming. However, this guy had plenty of other stupid issues apart from Glory. His playing was even more inconsistent than Tang Ru's. As for Little Cold Hands and Concealed Light, both of them had clear weaknesses and strengths. Their weaknesses limited their strengths too. If they couldn't overcome these weaknesses, neither of them had the qualifications to even step on stage. The Challenger League obviously wouldn't be as difficult as the Professional League, but they would still meet a few strong opponents. With their current skill, they definitely wouldn't be able to handle it. Fortunately, there was still plenty of time before the Challenger League began. Moreover, the Challenger League had both fish and dragons mixed together. There would be strong opponents, but most of the participating players could be dealt with by Yishu alone. After the teams, that were there just for the fun of it, were completely eliminated, there would be some time in between. During this time, Little Cold Hands and Concealed Light could continue to develop. Yishu could only hope that these two could truly perform well when he needed them to. He didn't expect them to immediately start shining as soon as they entered the Challenge League. In short, their team lacked relatively experienced players. Yishu could only feel regret towards Zhang Jiali. He wasn't just someone who could be described as relatively experienced. If Zhang Jiali actually joined their team, Yishu reckoned that with just him, Zhang Jiali, Wei Chen, Tang Ru, and Steam Bun Invasion, they were more than enough to steamroll their way through the Challenger League. It was just too bad. Saying that they could steamroll through the Challenger League wouldn't be able to persuade Zhang Jiali though. Who cares if they could sweep the Challenger League? At best, they would be able to easily earn a spot in the Professional League, but what did Zhang Jiali want? To be the champion. What Yishu could promise and what Zhang Jiali wanted were way too far off. Yishu thought about this to himself. He didn't splash any cold water on Chen Guo's happy mood, but this time, Chen Guo showed clear-headedness. After organizing the information on the members of their team, she reviewed the team. With 6 players, we have enough people, but our chances of winning doesn't seem too high, no? Seeing that Chen Guo had thought of it herself, Yishu nodded his head, yeah. That Concealed Light isn't even better than you right now. What then? Do you know any other retired experts like Old Wei? Chen Guo said. I do know a few. However, besides the question of whether or not they've even touched Glory recently, they have to be interested in joining our team. Relying on a team of these players gathered together would be enough to deal with a vast majority of opponents we will face in Challenger League, but that's not our goal. We want to return to the Professional League and win the championships. If our team is made up of old fellows, there won't be much room to improve, Yishu sighed. What do we do then? Continue switching accounts and find potential recruits? Chen Guo said. Yishu shook his head. The players who are found through this method will be just like Little Cold Hands or Concealed Light. They have talent, but they also have major flaws that weaken their strength. Anyone outstanding would have been discovered already. We're not planning on becoming a training camp. Little Cold Hands and Concealed Light are enough. We need players who can go up on stage at any time, or players like Little Tang and Steam Bun Invasion, who already have a solid foundation and improve quickly. These types of players can't be found in the heavenly domain. They have already been discovered. It would be better to pay more attention to the 10th server. There are definitely still players like Little Tang or Steam Bun Invasion amongst the new players. In addition, they probably haven't been noticed by the big guilds yet. But even though they haven't noticed any yet, doesn't mean that they're not paying attention, right? Chen Guo said. Right, Yishu sighed, and we don't have any advantage over them. This is something that can only be encountered by chance. To be able to pick up a steamed bun was already very lucky. Shouldn't we hurry and talk with Steamed Bun about the contract? It would be terrible if another guild took him away, Chen Guo suddenly remembered. I don't think it'll happen, Yishu said. Why not? Because of Steamed Bun's personality and because, from a certain perspective, Steamed Bun also has a big weakness that protects him, Yishu said. It's better to be careful. Chen Guo erred on the side of caution. That's fine too. Yi Shu thought about it and felt like since they had already gone this far, they might as well start being more careful. Similar to how Wang Jiaxi tried to recruit Tang Ru before, if Tang Ru didn't have special circumstances, an incredible seedling would have been taken away just like that. The current champion team. Compared with a newly created team that wasn't even sure if they could make it through the Challenger League yet, it was too huge of a chasm. Chen Guo acted swiftly. With the plan set, she immediately logged into the 10th server chasing Haze and called out to Steamed Bun Invasion. What? Steamed Bun Invasion replied. Steamed Bun, you left too quickly. We weren't finished discussing yet, Chen Guo said. Oh, what else did Senior have to say? Steamed Bun Invasion asked. We're creating a team to participate in an official competition, so we will need your information. We're also going to need you to sign a contract for it later, Chen Guo said. Ooh, okay, then should I come over in person? Steamed Bun Invasion asked. That would be good, Chen Guo smiled. Where do I find you guys? Steamed Bun Invasion asked. We're in City H. Tell me when you're available and I can come pick you up, Chen Guo arranged. Sure. I'll go buy a ticket, Steamed Bun Invasion said and then disappeared. Chen Guo was left there hanging. After 2 minutes of staring blankly, she turned around and said to Yi Shu, I admire Steamed Bun very much. Why? Yi Shu wasn't like Chen Guo who spent most of her time watching someone else play. Steamed Bun went to buy a ticket. He'll be coming over directly, Chen Guo said. Steamed Bun Invasion's spirit was something even Tang Ru couldn't help but be awed by. That Steamed Bun really is. That's too decisive. How are you going to accommodate for him when he arrives? Don't tell me he'll be sleeping on the sofa, Yi Shu asked. That'll be an issue. Not just Steamed Bun. Later, when the team officially forms, everyone will need to be together. We'll definitely have to figure out how to accommodate for them. Hand this matter over to me, Chen Guo nodded her head. Pro teams usually had 10 to 12 players. They couldn't just be squeezed into such a small room in the internet cafe. Chen Guo seemed to have been influenced by Steamed Bun Invasion. She moved swiftly and decisively. She immediately went online and started looking up housing locations near Happy Internet Cafe. Chen Guo hadn't moved from this stretch of land in the past 30 years. Even the neighboring Club Excellent Era was something that Chen Guo had watched as it developed and was built. Chen Guo was very familiar with this part of town. Which surrounding areas were convenient, close to the internet cafe, in a nice area, etc. She could close her eyes and talk about them all. She naturally found apartments for rent very quickly and started calling. As she called them, she took notes. Soon, she had an entire page of information. Chen Guo looked at the page and felt like she had enough information for now. She turned her head towards Yi Shu and Tang Ru. Who wants to go house hunting? Obviously, you should be the one to go, Yi Shu said. Nonsense. I'm saying apart from me, who else wants to go? Chen Guo called. I'll go with you, Tang Ru smiled as she stood up. Little Tang, you don't need to move out. We can continue to stay here and live, Chen Guo said. I'll just go out for a walk with you then, Tang Ru said. What about you? Would you like to go and take a walk? Chen Guo said. Yi Shu was still living in that little storage room. Speaking of which, Chen Guo felt quite embarrassed. Now that they were looking for apartments, Chen Guo wanted to make up for it. It doesn't matter for me. You can do what you want, Yi Shu waved his hands. He clearly wasn't planning on spending much time choosing a comfortable living environment. Chen Guo was helpless. She and Tang Ru left. Before leaving, she talked about the issue of everyone needing to live together and her plans on renovating the second floor of the internet cafe. They quickly chose an apartment. Chen Guo had naturally already seen the appearances of the rooms before contacting the owner. As for the prices, Chen Guo was very familiar with this part of town. The prices were around 1,000 or so yuan and she happily negotiated. Soon, they found a terraced house with 6 rooms in a small area called Forest Park. It had a balcony at the top, a garden at the bottom, 2 stories, and 6 rooms. Chen Guo was planning on having 2 people to a room. On the first floor, there were 2 living rooms connected together. Chen Guo felt like she could set up a circle of computers here, so they wouldn't need to use the internet cafe. The team could directly eat, sleep, and practice together here. Good. Chen Guo was so satisfied that she and Tang Ru even talked about moving over from the internet cafe to live here. After paying the initial deposit, she was like a general returning home after a victory. Yi Shu was naturally still at his computer playing Glory. Chen Guo told him the good news. Yi Shu also looked at her with wide eyes. So luxurious, Yi Shu was deeply moved. He couldn't help but think about the year he had left home. Having food and a bed was quite nice already. What type of housing condition hadn't he been in? Yi Shu already felt lucky to be able to live in the storage room. It was small, but it was still his own personal living space. And now, he was about to move into a villa to play games. How the times have changed.